Welcome to Think Global Education Services. We have already seen vocab and context type of question. We've seen how to map a passage, and we know what is going to be there in the entire reading comprehension section in all the previous videos of ours. Let's look at today what exactly is inference question. You should be very careful about this question, and mostly students say this is my weakness because these are the type of questions that we haven't really done in our schools or at other places. Basically, the word inference means something that's indicated. You can infer. So if you tell me I'm taking SAT and I say, oh, you're taking SAT, that's not my inference. But if you tell me that I have booked the SAT test, I can infer that you're going to take the test because that's why you booked it, right? So inference is something that is very close to what you want to say, but you haven't said that. So what you're going to look at is something that is not written in the passage directly, but you can prove it. Prove it based on the lines somehow. Okay. Let's see one of the question types. For inference, the words that you would be looking at in the options of yours, the questions of yours would be words like suggest, indicate, infer, inference. So anything that says that it's there, read between the lines, it's there, can be proven or must be true. These are all your inference words. Okay. The passage suggests which of the following about coral reef community. Now I want you to just pause this video and how we did the quick read in the previous passage in the previous video of ours. I want you to follow that same approach and do a very quick read for this and then come back and discuss this question. All right. Okay. So if you've already paused and you've read the video, you know where the answer would be or should be located. So what we do is our approach. Once we know where the answer is located, those particular lines we read with a little careful eye of ours. Now that you have done a very quick read, let's do it together to see if you have got what you should. Coral reef, fragile, complex, diverse, ecosystem, fascinating paradox. How to clear all of these are product and productive communities. So we know that we're talking about coral reef and they are very complex and biologically complex and fragile. We are asking ourselves a question which is like we don't know the answer of. So there's a paradox and something that's so nutrient poor. How is it surviving? Answer. So what's the answer now? Answer lies in the tissues. Then the cell of all of these. So then it tells you the answer. So what is the answer? How are they surviving in nutrient? Something that doesn't have nutrition at all. Okay. Next part. Unfortunately, coral reefs, however, a variety of human activities are causing degradation. So because of human activities, the coral reefs are not able to thrive. So this is the example of what all is it that the humans are doing because of which the degradation is happening. Symptoms of decline, instability, all of these. Then decline in reef are consistent with observation and direct to this is this threatening the coral reef community. So I know that we are somehow threatening the community. Subtle changes in nutrient input to the water. So how are we doing that? Because we are making some changes in the nutrient. Now, if you see earlier, I said that this thrive in nutrient poor water. So they don't need nutrient. And then I'm saying that I'm making some changes in the nutrient. Now, can I reduce the nutrients more? If I do, it is already nutrient poor, so it will keep thriving. But it is not thriving. That means what will I be doing to the nutrients? Maybe I'm somehow adding the nutrients. Now, how are you doing that? We don't know, but maybe they're doing that. Okay, so that's what we know from here. Let's read the options now. A says coral reef communities may actually be more likely to thrive in waters that are low in nutrients. Maybe more likely to thrive. Okay, so in the initial part itself, in the paradox, what did you say? How do clear and thus nutrient poor water support such prolific and productive community? So nutrient poor water is supporting the community, right? And this is why it is supporting. So can it thrive in the water that has less nutrients? Yes, it can. So keep this option. Next one. The nutrient on which coral reef community thrive are found in shallow water. Okay, now for people who are little bit wanting to choose this option because of shallow waters, and we had the shallow water thing over here also. Observe this. It says that the coral reef thrives on what? On the nutrients. But what did I say earlier? The first paragraph said earlier that they thrive on the water that is nutrient poor, not the water which has nutrients. So you see how SAT is playing with your mind. It is telling you something which is so not ordinary. Like for everybody, all of us, we take nutrients in order to survive. Yes, but this particular thing that we're talking about, we have to say that no, we don't need nutrients. We have to just go opposite. So B goes out. Human population has led to changing ocean temperature, which threatens coral reef community. In the second paragraph, we know that because of human activity, something wrong is happening with the um, coral reef. So we know that human activities are doing all of it. But so we'll keep it, but we'll come back to this. D. The growth of coral reef communities tend to destabilize underwater herbivore population. Do we know about it that the growth of coral reef, because of coral reef, the underwater herbivore population is not stabilized. They are sometimes more, sometimes less. So if you want to check, go back to this. We'll find herbivores population here. What do we talk about it? Typical symptoms of reef decline are, so reef is declining because of destabilized herbivores population. Herbivore population is not stabilized, and that is why reef is declining. It doesn't say that reef community is destabilizing herbivore. It's not vice versa. Okay, it's not like I will help you means you will help me. It only means I will help you. Okay, so D also goes out. Now, are humans threatening reef communities? Yes, they are. Are coral reef likely to thrive in less nutrient water? Yes, they are. So now I have two options and both can be correct. So we'll look at every word carefully before we select the option. Read this. Human population growth has led to changing ocean temperature, and that is why that community is threatened. We know that humans are threatening, and how are humans threatening the coral reef community? Okay, by adding nutrients to water, agriculture, slash and burn, land clearing, sewage disposal, manufacturing that creates waste byproducts, all increase nutrients load in this water. Symptom of decline are destabilization of herbivore population, not human population, herbivore population, and increased abundance of algae. So, did you find anything like human population growth? No. Did you find something like ocean temperature is changing because of which the coral reef are not growing? No. So humans are harming coral reef, but the population growth is not. Okay, so this is a half correct answer. Be very careful about such options. How the options are trying to trap you, and hence option A is the correct answer for inference question. Okay, all right. So inference, as I was saying, means something that you can prove. Now, it was not directly written anywhere that coral reefs are going to thrive in relatively low nutrients, but it was very clearly indicated, and that's why A is the correct answer.